All right, hello everybody and welcome back to my garden. My name is Ashley and I garden here in Northern California, Zone 9B, around the Sacramento area. Today we are in the Woodland Garden and it is hot, even though we're in deep shade. I'd love to get out here earlier in the mornings, but a virus has been kicking my butt majorly lately and I just haven't been able to get going early. But I wanted to get some planting done out here. We've been putting a lot of work into this woodland garden, and it really is a tough place to plant. First of all, we have 3 redwoods back here, all along the back, and then we have a classic oak tree that is just beautiful. And we've done a lot of work limbing up the redwoods. As you can see right here, a lot of the branches actually start off a lot lower, and to make this a usable space we have limbed them up, and this fall we're actually going to do more, and then we've actually gone up into the canopy and selectively thinned it out to allow more light to come through, which has allowed us to be able to plant and have more things survive down here. So we have the issue of the deep shade that we are constantly tweaking with and, trying to adjust. This year, I'm going to come in, like I said, and thin it out even more. The issue is that it actually does a double. It provides privacy as well. So to not completely open it up to the neighbors right behind us, I am trying to do it selectively so that we keep our privacy, but it allows more light in. So we've been working on that. And when we moved in here, there was landscape fabric all over the ground, and it got really tangled and grown into all of the root systems in here. So it has been such a laborious journey ripping it all out. And I still find little pockets of it, ensnared on a root and little areas of it, and it drives me crazy. But that was a tremendous amount of work to pull out. And it was covered in vinca minor, just as a ground cover. And it was nice enough, but I had to pull out all of the vinca minor, pull out all of the landscape fabric. And then last fall we just layered it with several inches of compost all across the top of the soil. And then we put the wood chips down on top of it. And this fall, we're actually going to do the same thing. We're going to, whatever wood chips haven't broken down in a few months, we're going to rake them aside, lay down more compost, because we're still in that place where we're having to build up our soil and re-mulch the area. And so this is a really tough area. I actually had my holes pre-dug. My husband is wonderful. I tried to do it myself. He came out to help me because it is just so hard digging these holes, even for these little sized pots. This is what I'm planting. And honestly, I really can't plant any bigger because the roots are so thick in this area, and we had to cut a lot out. Brings me to my next point. We really need strong, vigorous plants in this area. I really can't have anything that I have to baby along. If I have to baby along anything, it's not going to make it. It's not cut out for this spot. It's not for the weak-hearted. So what we are going to be planting today is honoring Jobert, a Japanese anemone. And I am so excited about these. So these get to be about 3 or 4 feet high and 2 to 3 feet wide. And they have a reputation for literally sending out rhizomes and taking over an area. And it'll be interesting to see how they behave in this kind of a challenging landscape, because not only are they dealing with major root competition. When we dug, the ground was actually so dry, despite the fact that we have irrigation in here to water the hydrangeas and everything around us. We have frequent irrigation. We run it 30 minutes at night and like 15-20 minutes in the morning, and the ground is still dry right here. So it has major competition with roots, and also that's going to compact that dryness issue is we are planting these things right here on a slope. This is not a very forgiving piece of woodland garden. So they are going to have to be tough. And I heard that these things literally are tough as nails and will take over your yard if you let them. It'll be interesting to see, I hope they make it. I hope they survive. And then are they really going to be able to flourish and survive these conditions? We will have to see. I also have some mountain mints, just a few areas of it that I started from seed. And this is actually holding on. it doesn't look super wonderful, but it's hanging on. And hopefully these few areas of mountain mint will come together. I also right here have some columbine, and columbine is past its peak right now. And it's alive, it's still holding on, so we'll see how it does. We shall see how it does next spring, after it's had a fall to really kind of set down some better roots in this area. We also have what I believe are phantom hydrangeas right behind here, and they have done excellently. We also have what we're going to be planting today, along with I have 5 honorine jobers, and then we have this cranesbill geranium. This cranesbill is a biocovo, and this biocovo, it gets to about maybe a foot and a half tall, but it's more of a spreader. And I need things that are going to spread, take up space, that are going to be kind of aggressive out here. So I'm looking for plants that have a reputation for being aggressive and hopefully won't mind these conditions or won't find them much of a challenge. We also have cranesbill geranium already in here. This one I believe is Roseanne, and so we have a few spots of it. And we are also planting today with the cranesbill and the anemone. We have a beautiful abutilon. And we already have some abutilons. This one is called Scarlet Fire. And I love these. I actually just started growing abutilon last year. And this is one that we planted last summer, I believe. And this one is Victorian Lady. And she is just beautiful. And they are evergreens. They are shade lovers. And they literally bloom all year long. I wish that this one had some currant blooms. One little currant bloom. But they basically just send out blooms all year, around the clock. I was amazed. So in the wintertime, when you look out the window and there's not much to look at, this is a wonderful sight because she's just beautiful, and she has her soft pink flowers all year round. And then I also have another Victorian Lady right here. And then we have another, this one did not have a name. And it actually was quite small when I got it. And it just was labeled abutilon. And the flowers on it, which there are no flowers on it currently, which doesn't really... It's not really helping my point that it flowers all year round, but trust me, it really does. They're beautiful. They flower all year round. And this one is a really like antique gold, like kind of antique orange, which doesn't sound very pretty or doesn't sound like something I would like, but it actually is really surprisingly gorgeous. And what's even better is the hummingbirds love abutilon. I had no idea that they would love it as much as they do. And I love just watching them come around. We don't get a lot of hummingbirds in here. I'm trying to remedy that. I would love to get more hummingbirds, and I don't know why. They just don't love our area. I know they populate Sacramento. I just don't know why they don't visit us. So I'm trying to actually lure them in with more hummingbird delights. So we'll be doing that. I have 2 of the Scarlet Fire abutilons, 5 of the honorine jobert Japanese anemones, and 3 of the biocove cranesbill geraniums. So, okay, so in addition to the abutilon that we have right here and what I believe is the phantom hydrangeas, we have some, I'm going to butcher this. I don't know why, it's a tongue twister. This is a bloomerang, her pink, reblooming lilac from Proven Winners. And, you know, there hasn't been a lot of growth. I have 3 of them in here. There hasn't been a lot of growth, but they've held on. I actually bought them just in this size, just the quart size. So they have grown and they have survived in this dry shade, and they actually look, you know, in good shape. And I don't see any disease or powdery mildew or anything on them. So, you know, they're holding on. I didn't really expect anything from them this first year. We didn't get any bloom. Actually, no, a couple of them sent out like tiny little blooms. And then next to them here, we have the Gatsby Gal, 3 of the Gatsby Gal oak leaf hydrangeas. And they were just little quarts. We planted them at the same time as the reblooming lilac. And they are actually growing. No blooms on them this year, but like I said, I didn't expect that when you buy them in such a small sized container. And then behind here, what I plan on creating is like an understory. So I plan on limbing these larger trees up and then allowing an understory to grow underneath, all the while carefully controlling the shade that, and not creating too much shade and not creating too difficult of a lighting situation. But hopefully we'll be taking, as these grow up, these are Chinese snowball viburnums, and they're really beautiful. They've held on as well. They haven't had the growth that I kind of hoped or expected, but they're holding on, and these are really competitive conditions. So they're doing great. But as they grow up into more of an understory tree, because they get to be about 10 to 15 feet tall, which is like the perfect understory tree, we're going to be limbing up these redwood trunks even higher. So that is the plan back here, and we're going to get going planting everything in now. So as you can see, this is a close-up of one of the holes. This is a kind of really difficult growing conditions that we're dealing with. We had to cut a lot of roots out of the way, and it was a lot of work. So there's a lot of root competition in here. And normally I would just backfill with the native soil. That's the best way to do it. Your plants need to acclimate quickly, and I don't really see any reason to spoil them. It's best for them to get used to the soil that they'll be living in. However, because we had to cut out so much root area, there actually was more root volume than dirt volume. So there really isn't a lot of dirt, native dirt to backfill. So I'm just using some potting soil that I have on hand. And I will be, not it. I may have to cut that root back even. My lovely hoary here. And I just use my Eden Stone Organic Sure Start. And this is a little root bound, so with my hoary, just trying to go around and free them up a little bit so they can grow outward. There's a little bit of dirt from the hole. There really wasn't that much to work with. And also before, a couple of hours ago, before I planted these, I actually watered them in really well. And then I'll water them in again right now after I get them all planted. On a side note, I don't want to bring it up, but for the sake of being honest and transparent, this is actually the site that I planted the delphinium a few weeks ago. And as you can see, there is not a single trace of delphinium left because I forgot to put slug bait down, which I know that I should do. Like, delphiniums are such a delicious, lovely, sought-after snack by slugs. And they got them so fast. They were just, literally, there's not even a trace of them that they ever existed out here. So I would say it's not even a mistake I needed to learn again. I've learned that. I made that mistake multiple times. But here we go. So the delphiniums would have been nice here, but now we got the Japanese anemones. All right, on to the next. I'm winded, hot, ready for a glass of water. But that's it. It's nice to get that done. I think it's going to be a beautiful drift of honoring Jobert anemones. And I do have a couple, and it's going to kind of run into this drift of Japanese anemone, Robitusima. And these are similar, but they are more of a pink variety. So I think that that's going to be really lovely. And hopefully everything survives and takes off. We'll see if Honorine Jobert can live up to her reputation here. All right, thank you everyone for joining me. It's been just a delight being out here even when it's hot and sticky, but still I love being out in my garden. It makes everything in my mind quiet down for just some blissful minutes. And I hope you guys have all found your peace and happiness today as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you join me next time.